All right, all right. Hello, everyone. What? What?
Gute Nacht.
Oh, okay.
Link your Twitch, please.
Oh, I like the look. That was a good look.
All right. Oh, I guess we're live on YouTube and Twitch then. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the anime podcast for Outpost 1018 for the month of January. I know it's February 5th, but we are always late. So anyway, for January, we decided to watch Battle Angel Alita. And it's an OVA from what was it?
Madhouse.
1993, made by Madhouse, licensed by ADV Films, and it's only 2 episodes, and it's about a cyborg girl living in a dystopian future where everyone lives in these trash heaps dumped upon them by a floating city in the sky. Um, so that's
Really
the
quick, the moment you said cyborg girl, my subconscious went, the Barbie song by Aqua. So I'm a cyborg girl in a cyborg world.
oh okay.
Everything's
Uh,
dystopic.
all right then. Uh, where was I? Oh, so yeah. Let's just get straight into this. I'm gonna say the general look of the show, at least going into it. Um, it looks it looks really just kind of like grainy, like everything is like this kind of dreary kind of like brown and tan kind of look to it. There there really isn't like a clean surface in almost the entire in almost the entire city that they're living in. These people living in this sort of trash heap. They're basically slums and like, parts of like different cities that have been dropped on top of them.
Yeah, there's like a floating society above them.
Yeah, everyone living in this place is just uh is just an absolute squalor. Uh,
Um, doesn't it kind of tiny bit remind you of the terrible fucking living conditions in Ready Player One's society?
I don't. I've never seen it.
Me
Oh,
neither.
they had the housing, and that was horrifying. They would have like like container houses, like manufactured houses, stacked on top of each other, and then sometimes like they would collapse and people would die.
Ah, see, it to me, it kind of reminds me of like if you like took a Chinese city and then like
So Hong
just
Kong.
like yeah, if you took like Hong Kong and just dumped like a billion metric tons of garbage on top of it.
That almost
Oh, like
happened.
real China. Okay.
Yeah, no, that almost happened with the walled city, the Hong Kong apartment complex that they had to
Well,
demolish.
like they
Yeah,
have like actual like they have like actual proper buildings. It's just that there really just isn't like any maintenance for the infrastructure. There's like no real way to keep to keep anything particularly clean. It's like everything is just kind of like abject filth. Um,
it really doesn't help that the residue came from the upper area from was Salos? What's the name of the city?
it's what was it?
Yeah, I was rewatching the series in both dub and
It's like
uh,
Zelos or something. The blurb on I'd have to like go back into the show to remember its name. The blurb on Mao is not saying the name of the the floating city.
Okay, Tifares, also known as Salem. Salem.
Salem.
Zalem. All right.
Xylem is like the closest. I don't know if I should bring this up before we continue. That the story, it's not really a spoiler that the setting is basically set in what used to be the United States. It is explained later in the manga why it's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's assumed. So
Yeah. Otherwise, everything kind of has that sort of like what you'd think of with that like 80s like cyberpunk aesthetic, where like all like the all like the sort of low lives and scumbags and criminals like they're all like wearing trench coats and have like wacky
Cybernetics.
dyed hair and whatnot.
so
Um,
They have
80s
implants.
cyberpunk.
yeah. Um, so that in that sense, the general look and feel is or is sort of in line with other cyberpunk stuff at the time. Um, it's just the real difference is like the sort of post-apocalyptic kind of setting on top of it. What one thing that's notable is at least in the OVA. I don't know about the manga, but at least in the OVA, you never actually get to see like Zelos.
Nope. Same
Um,
with manga, except the second part of it.
because
So I
uh,
was gonna go ahead. Sorry.
okay, because the like it's sort of like this this thing like Gally and Yugo really want to go up there. Chiren wants to go back there. Um, but you never really get to like you never really get to see it. You can almost like kind of imagine like they all just like have this picture in their head of like what a paradise it is. Um and that's probably what what they're seeing like in their sort of dreams, whatnot, when they're trying to like when they're thinking about going up there. Um but I could imagine it's not really like it's probably just like a slightly better city up there. It's still kind of just urban sprawl as far as I can tell.
Probably be better than living in squalor, having to be being paranoid about getting killed by some random mutant
Yeah,
or
definitely.
cyber psycho.
You know,
Go ahead.
let me drop this real quick, but I can definitely tell the guys who made Elysium, the movie, were actually
Oh god, that
inspired by.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. It kind of also reminded me of the difference between like the kind of like the class difference you'll see in Blade Runner, where
Classism. Yeah.
yeah, like Harrison Ford's character is parking his car to take a phone call, and already there's people trying to steal his tires,
Yeah.
like because he's parked in the lower levels.
yeah. You have the upper area in the movie in Elysium, which is an absolute paradise on earth, and then you have the bottom, which is the rest of the world, which is an absolute
Overcrowded.
shithole, and an absolute shithole. Yeah. So huge night and day difference, and the very motive why Hugo wanted to leave Scrap City, well, Scrap Iron City,
Yeah.
to Salem.
Yeah, there's other things of note. One of them is that when somebody is being like eviscerated to be harvested for organs, you tend to see it in all its gory detail. There's a lot of gore in this show. Or not a lot, but there's a considerable amount.
Got a lot of 80s. Gotta love 80s and 90s anime.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's like a part where a dog gets fucking eviscerated.
Yeah, Galley's
It's
dog.
slashed in half.
Which I was
Yeah.
bring up for 1 minute, that they kind of like they didn't show the graphic details of it in the movie because they wanted to maintain PG-13.
I mean, the live
Yeah.
action film?
Yeah, the live
Yeah,
action.
a live action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
no, this one's
mean, yeah,
this one's
a lot more.
rated R+.
It's not really rated. I mean, from what I
Well,
would
at least that's what it says on my anime list.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is
because-
R-rated. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
R-rated.
it's R-rated. So there was no official rating because it was an OVA. It was back in the early 90s, and like there was really no
No one
rating
knew how to
for
rate anime back then.
Yeah, no one really knew, but it was like there was basically the typical one of the girls has her tits out and there's a bunch of blood and gore. So they're just like,
Yeah.
it's R. And R rated
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
pretty much it.
I believe this came out the same time as Akira, so oof.
Let me make sure. I thought this came out.
That's a rough comparison, though.
Hold on. Akira came out a couple of years earlier, 1988.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's like
yeah, the OVA
yeah, like
came
5
out
years earlier.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
OVA came out in 93. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, last year, 30 years old actually. As of last year.
I want to butt in. You guys remember we watched the that one Halloween when we went for the double feature? We did Madhouse, Wicked
Yeah.
City, and Wicked City.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You remember how both of those had body horror, especially like Wicked City, but neither of them were like overtly gory. Like, yeah, it had some gore, but it wasn't.
Wicked City was like much more like pornographic than it was gory.
Yeah. But anyways, my point was like, the artists that worked on those two, they focused more on the detail of the environment. Like my favorite example being like the roadways and the cars and like how the light reflected on the cars as if it's in, if it's a 3D model, even though it's all hand drawn. They showcased their art like that. They didn't need to draw, organs and guts and stuff spilling it. It's like I always find it interesting how some artists try to show off like by drawing guts like that. Like, oh hey, Akira did it, so we should too. Well, I mean, I don't think they thought like, oh, Akira did it, so we should do it. Like they see other anime doing it. They want to show that they can do it, or they just feel like, oh, look at my art skills. I can draw somebody's insides. Like I appreciate that there's anime out there that showed off their animations and art skill in other ways, and they didn't resort to just doing guts. But I guess they needed this for a Battle Alita because then they could show just how brutal that existence is in that world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an anime that's partially about or mostly about organ harvesters.
And implants.
Yeah.
As we've seen with Alita, she's 99% of her body is cybernetics.
Yeah. There are some other like weird things like the animation is mostly pretty good. There are some like weird things like Alita like knocks somebody like off the edge of a building and starts falling with him, and then just like somehow like seems to just magically jump back up, which I thought was kind of weird. I didn't like how that looked.
yeah, there was like a weird it looked like they drew her and then they just spun her rapidly, and it was like what, it was so off-putting. I was like, who animated that one scene? Especially
I
whenever
think they were.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, especially like whenever like so much of the show had like a lot of really good animation, especially for the time period. But it was like that one part was just like so out of place compared to every other style of animation.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they were like pressed for time.
That was pretty early one though. That was in the first episode, and that was like probably
like
halfway through
halfway
it.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if it started like getting choppy or near the end, I would have agreed, but like that no.
Yeah, no, it remained pretty consistent throughout both episodes.
Mhm.
The animation was for the most part pretty high quality um throughout both episodes. Uh Sort of contributing to this to its sort of gritty look is the fact that I could not for the life of me find this show in HD.
Yeah,
Nah,
it's
they didn't have it
me
even.
either.
You can probably
It,
thank the creator for that, for not really caring that much for the. Actually, don't
I
think that
don't
there
think
was even a
Madhouse.
license.
Well, someone holds the license to that thing, but the thing is, I don't think Madhouse cares, and I don't think Masamoto Shiro does either.
Well, I mean, this is like the first I've like when we did this when we decided to do it for the podcast.
Wait,
This
is
is
it
like
a
the
Masamoto Shiro?
first I've even heard of it, and like I'm not like I certainly don't know like every anime ever made, but like I'm pretty reasonably familiar with retro anime.
Oh wait,
So
Wait, you didn't know
it's
I gotta correct myself. The guy who made is Kishiro Yukoto. Sorry.
Yeah, the creator of the manga.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it's Shiro as well, but that. My
yeah.
bad.
So yeah, it's what was I gonna say? Does anyone like have like any more to add for the visual
yes.
aspect? All right.
Okay. So I added this in the pin comment, but there's actually the fact is Yukito Kishiro himself did not take the idea of adapting his manga very seriously to the point where
Nope.
those two episodes were the only ones that got adapted. That was it. The man, how can I say this? Mm, some series should not be adapted to anime. And I'm talking to you, Yotsuba. There will never be an animation of Yotsuba as long as we live.
I'll throw Berserk in there. At least a
Oh,
faithful adaptation.
oh yeah.
Well, we sort of got it, but
Well,
that's-
the '90s one was pretty faithful to what happened during that arc in in the manga.
Oh,
Yeah,
we have like
yeah.
films and stuff, so
And
I
It
need
was basically beat for beat the same.
we need to
yeah,
review that one at one point.
what the manga?
No, the Berserk 97 anime. I had never finished it.
Well, now would be a good
It's
time
rough.
because they re-released it on DVD recently and better quality. I've
I
heard.
agree. I agree. Sugar makes a good point. Also, we should do Bastard. Bastard is the other one that was like insanely lengthy. In fact, just like Berserk, it's not finished yet, but it's still ongoing. And it's
Yeah,
also a dark fantasy universe.
yeah. Let's move on to the sound design. This one might actually be kind of quick.
Eh,
Because I I can't really think of like anything in particular of note in the sound design.
there's
Yeah,
nothing.
this was Kaoru Wada work.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was kind of like a whole lot of like really just like grainy and kind of cheesy synth.
Yeah, that's
And I like normally I like that kind of stuff, but I don't know, it didn't really do it for me. I almost never even noticed the music like at all.
I I did.
Which is
try
funny
and-
because she did Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did try and keep like an ear out for the music throughout the entire thing. It was like
It's not great.
it was okay. Sound design in general was pretty okay as well, but it definitely sounded dated. Like it didn't sound like it was from the 90s. It sounded a little earlier. Definitely not
The
like the
dog's barking was
highest.
weird.
Yeah, it wasn't the
Yeah.
highest production quality. It was like pretty low end. But I mean, we're also talking an OVA from the 90s, so I wasn't expecting uh always gonna be like the greatest thing that I'm gonna hear. So
It's fine.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
passable, but it's definitely dated.
Yeah, it had a it had a lot of like cheesy like stock sound effects. At one point, there was a sound effect where like the death sound effect from Toho was like mixed in with something else. You know that Pachoon sound.
I might have to re-listen to that sound.
Well, that I would recognize that sound right away for reasons that definitely don't involve being bad at Toho. But that's like one of the only times I really even noticed the sound effects that much. They're I just kind of remember it being like just just kind of like average stuff for the time. So it's not like that. That's why I said this is probably going to be pretty quick. So I really don't have much to say about it.
There's
I wasn't-
nothing
I-
to say in the first place.
I wasn't feeling the ending either, like the ending thing. I was listening to it in its entirety, didn't care for it at all. What did disturb me a bit was the English voice for Gally, though. My God, Amanda Wynn.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of it.
She fucking overdid it. Like, what the hell was she on?
That's kind of interesting because ADV did the original dub for Evangelion, and you know that dub is actually really good.
And the funny thing is, there's also an English, like British English dub.
Oh
of the-
boy, I gotta hear that.
Wait, there's two different dubs?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
One was done by Manga UK in London, and the other one was in ADV. The other one was ADV, ADV Media.
Oh, that makes
Yeah, I wonder what happened to the British version.
Well, let's
More
just say that
history.
let's just say that the British version, it was from the British division of Manga Entertainment, who was handling the distribution to Europe.
Oh.
And then they also did the dubbing for the British audience. Back in the day, like you have Urusei Yatsura is a clear example of two dubs, because you had the American one, and then you have the Canadian one, and then you had the British one, also known as Lum the Invader. So I'm guessing they did it to clear a couple of things for the British audience who didn't speak American at all.
Yeah, you know, you know where you have someone talking in your background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know the Americans are like completely incomprehensible to British people, so you definitely have to do it twice.
And vice versa.
No, that's not that's not like super surprising. You would have had like different licensing deals from different companies in different regions, especially at the time. That was just like standard practice. So having like two different dubs in the same language isn't like that weird.
The thing is,
I'm,
the thing is, I tried to find the English dub, but I couldn't find it. Apparently, is it like lost media, or do we have to pick it up directly
Might
from
be
the
lost
DVD?
media.
I mean, I'm sure there would have been a DVD for it or a VHS or something.
I mean,
unless it was like unless it like only aired on TV.
oh no,
that could be the problem. It only aired. They only aired the dub syndicated.
They fucking aired it on BBC or something, and then they destroyed the tapes immediately afterwards, and nobody who watched it
probably recorded it.
Nobody who watched it paid for their VCR license. They got arrested.
Well, it's a very common practice actually, because a lot of these TV stations, they don't even use VHS; they use beta.
Oh yeah, but
it sucks.
They tended to just reuse the same tapes. So that's why a lot of broadcasts are gone.
I'm pretty sure if you can poke around on torrents, you pretty much should be able to find some version.
Oh, you got the
oh shit!
Yeah, mate.
Hold on. I gotta hear this.
Same.
I'll have to check it out later. But
oh god, that dog is. That dog really does sound weird. Wait, why did they not sound British?
Because reasons.
Also, that's probably for the best, because imagine if they were faking the accents, it would sound horrible.
Would.
Yeah, no, that's just less interesting than I thought it was going to be. It's like it's just the same. It's just Americans different Americans doing a different dub for the English. I was hoping to hear it in like British accents. Anyway, let's just move on. I think we've talked about this too much, but I was just curious about it. Let's move on to the characters. So, let's just dive right in. We'll start with Gally. Gally is sort of this like amnesiac bot who got pulled out of a junkyard. Striker, I can hear noise on your mic. She got pulled out of a junkyard, fixed up with like metal arms and legs and whatnot.
I just
at first she seems like just like some naive child, and then in the space of like a couple minutes she becomes like a badass killing machine, like suddenly.
Yeah, it does get explained.
It gets explained in the movie that Alita was at this
Wait, we're not talking about the movie though.
I know, but it's
the same explanation here as well, so it doesn't.
Was it? Was the what was the explanation?
She's basically a combat machine. So.
Oh, okay. So
to put it lightly, without spoiling too much.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, look, people who's gonna watch it, they don't care about spoilers, so it's still worth watching anyway. So
it's kind of whatever. Okay.
About characters, I just wanted to point out. Do you guys remember this the scientist who was dishonest? I think it was the chick.
Yeah.
We'll get to her. Yeah, we'll get to her.
I was just gonna say that I didn't like some of the two-dimensional characters, but yes, go ahead.
Oh my
god.
So I just realized something. They actually changed Gally's name in the UK dub. Her name is Alita in the UK dub compared to Gally in the American dub.
Yeah. I don't know when we were gonna mention that.
Yeah.
Because since I have the most manga knowledge.
That came suddenly when I was watching the scene with Yugo and Alita and Gally when they meet.
Yeah.
Yugo's name is spelled different from the manga.
Yeah, it's Yugo. It's Yugo. We'll talk about that later.
Everything is different. Gally got Gally was Alita. Yugo was Hugo. Scrap Iron City was the scrapyard. It's like all completely different.
Mm.
They wanted to make it
Which
cooler.
again is kind of a bit negligent on the writer's part, as he was big involved in the OVA. And he's like, whatever.
One thing I want to say about Gally is this may sound a bit out of context, but that we gotta protect that smile she has. You know.
I guess.
I'll
I mean,
be real.
I don't think there's much you'd have to do.
Enough
Um,
simping.
I mean, she's already overpowered as she is.
yeah.
Enough
Yeah.
simping. She's not
Yeah.
OnlyFans model yet.
And having watched both versions, the big eyes controversy that followed, I could honestly say it's accurate to the anime because truth be told, Alita's eyes are not even real. To be honest, they are more like cameras. That's why they're so big.
Yeah, and there's a lens flare in the film, and in this
Like
show,
I said,
I don't.
checks out.
She's a
Well,
giant.
I don't know it.
It
Like
doesn't bother me. I'll be honest. It's just like this is the style of show that they're going for. Like, duh, it's going to be like this.
well, I don't know it.
Get over it.
It at least it's not out of place, at least in the anime, which is what we're talking about. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
so
anime-wise,
it
this all
looks
looks fine.
yeah it looks like just about any other anime from the time. Like
I
the
was
early
gonna.
90s was the age of really big eyes. In fact, if anything, her eyes are a lot smaller than a lot of eyes at the time.
But we're bringing
Yeah.
it back, like the big eye thing. I'm just
Mhm.
saying,
Yeah.
we should bring it back.
Well, does anyone have like any more like takes on Galley?
I
Herself?
have a little bit more to say, in which like
Your stuff's
your
coming
monologue.
from the background again.
All right, I'll just talk over him. So with Gally, I guess, she again, like I said, she's like fully cybernetic, more than any other character in the story, and there's a reason for that. Not to really deviate to like the movie, but the berserker body that Ito found for her, there's some history with that, which is why she's able to quickly adapt and use it. So she doesn't exactly go murderously crazy. It's that maybe part of her locked away memories might be connected to that body that she's connected to now.
Think about this. You have a piece of hardware and a piece of software, right? And the hardware has its own bias, right? The code that runs that hardware. By connecting her to that body, she unlocks that basically like a skill tree almost. So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. Let's move on to Yugo.
Before we
Yugo.
go, sorry, Will. Before we move on,
What?
I was gonna say, personally, I found interesting or not, the British voice for her is a lot less unhinged than the American one regarding the dub. And that's saying something because Amanda Wynn is already unhinged as she is. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And Miki Ito, she's alright, but I would prefer those two over Amanda Wynn any day of the week. Anyway, sorry. Hugo. Yeah, let's talk about.
Yeah, Yugo is. I like if I knew Yugo in real life, I would absolutely despise him. He is a very, very selfish person, and he is basically.
Hello.
What?
He's
Damn.
just more to be. Yeah, he's.
Oh.
Is he there?
Yugo took him out.
Oh, apparently you go just snuck in and tried and how should I say this?
He used a hammer
He's still on the call.
and him as a nail.
Oh my god! It looks like he's going
A
to
hammer
snap Will's
with
neck.
turbo. Like,
Yeah.
come on, that's cool.
No, I was gonna agree with him. Hugo's like a very selfish child. Like, obviously, he's still just a child in this and easily manipulated. He's just doing what he can
He
to
just
try
wants
and
to escape.
yeah, he's trying to get a better life, and um, it seemed like the best life that they can actually acquire is just being the head of that area. Like, they're never actually going to ascend it past, but it's like, even whenever you heard, it's like, oh, there's absolutely no way. Oh, rather than just being like,
Yeah, the
hey,
people
I'm going to
up top
be,
don't.
yeah, like, hey, like, I'll just strive for the best life here. He's like, I'm going to go try and get there anyway. And like, it's
He's
such a
very
selfish,
one-dimensional.
yeah. And like, the
Yeah.
ending is just like, it shows that he has absolutely nothing to live for except that one thing, and it's
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I would
it's
just say that he exists merely to more build upon Gally as a
yeah,
character.
he's
Well,
really boring. And,
Gally tries to just tries like one last time to like bring him back. Um and and save him by like tempering his sort of his sort of like
Overzealousness.
his sort of like masculine Faustian overzealousness so that he could like live a more reasonable life. But he in like in something that's kind of like
Your mic.
It's actually the mixer.
okay, what is it doing? Is it quiet? Is it loud?
It's cutting. It's cutting up.
Cutting out how? Is it
Now
is
it's
it
like dropping it.
is it failing to detect? Is that what it's doing, or is it clipping?
It's
Sounds
clipping.
like
now it's clipping.
and
Before it was really.
All right.
You're a little loud too.
how is this?
it's
Now
good.
better.
Okay.
Sounds better.
Anyway,
Okay. Call me a contrarian, but honestly, if I was in Hugo's shoes, and let's be honest, I live in a third world shithole, I would do the same thing too. I would fuck right off that place. If it meant, I mean,
yeah, but if you're in a third world shithole, like
You need a plan to leave.
like you can you don't even like necessarily need money to leave. And you're like more or less allowed to leave. You like if worse comes to worse, you could just like walk out. But with a but with him, he is literally not allowed to be in Zalem.
yeah.
He's not
Uh,
allowed- yeah, none of them.
they were never going to accept him there in the first place.
And Vector basically said, "Why would you want to go there?"
And he basically tries to go there at the expense of not just committing crimes to get ahead in life. Like that's one thing. But he basically turns his back on like literally anyone who has ever liked or respected him.
Which would
Yeah.
be Alita.
Yeah, even Gally, and Gally has a pretty big connection to Yugo later on in the series.
Yeah.
Like, it seems that she loves him, but he doesn't reciprocate her feelings at all.
How about
It's not that he doesn't see it. Well, he kind of see it at the very end, but when it's fucking too
It's
late.
too late.
But
And we all know how that ended. He flew to hide to the fucking sun.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
sort of a like Icarus type of character where it's like
Mhm.
he doesn't care about anything else other than achieving that goal, and
Funnily
Yeah.
that
enough, I think that was the
counts he's on
intention.
doing. So
Yeah, I mean that's immediately what I thought. I thought of Icarus and I thought of the ending to the original Sailor Moon at the same time.
oh god.
So it was like Icarus combined with like Sailor Moon like begging Tuxedo Mask to like remember his past so that she could free him from the grip of Queen Beryl. It's basically those two things molded into one. Uh
Sort
it
of.
was like and like that was I quite liked that actually. I thought that was pretty good.
The one good time where his character has been used for something meaningful, because his death were just pretty much motivates Scally for her future actions. I will say.
Yep. Which we're not gonna see in the OVA form of this anime one,
Nope, gonna have to
but we're
read it.
gonna see it in the second film. Whenever that's gonna show up.
Maybe.
So,
Okay.
what do you mean maybe? They announced they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
The
And I'm
first
gonna
one,
That's
see it, and I'm gonna encourage everyone to go around and see it. So,
the
yeah.
first one was successful enough to warrant a sequel.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
why is stopping James Cameron, who claimed he's a fan of the series?
Yes. How many years they were developing the film?
Ah,
Do you want me to look that up? Because I can.
I
oh
think
well,
it's about
it
5 years.
doesn't it doesn't really matter.
So it's Cameron. Like he has like a bunch of other
mm.
stuff.
Okay,
All right.
get back on track.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's get back on track.
Just said,
Alright,
just
my
said around 2026 at earliest.
Good.
But yeah,
Everyone
the third one is Daisuke Ido himself, as in the Dr. Ido, right?
Ito Ito there isn't like really too much to him. He's more of
Third figure.
he's just presented as somebody who's kind of world weary and experienced and kind of like a mentor character.
Like he's more comfortable in the conditions he's in at the moment,
It's
as best I
I
could describe it.
I think he's the most compelling character in the entire series. Because yeah, he's like the mentor character, but he's the best fighter that we've seen. He knows everything that's going on. Later in,
Yep.
we find out a little bit more about him and why he takes the actions he did, and like it kind of all comes together whenever he reveals that information. Um, so all of those things, like he actually is the most compelling, and he is the best at what he does, and like
And he has a
making the
giant
best
hammer
tech.
with propellant.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
I-
So
I-
like he just like all of his characteristics. It's like he was probably the coolest character to me in the entire show.
Well, I would kind of like disagree with the idea that he's like the best fighter.
Man.
I think
or Galley.
it really strikes me that this man just
You cut out again.
he doesn't have like a natural proclivity towards fighting, and that he really like only gets into combat because he has to. That's kind of the
Yeah, we
hello. Is this better?
Yep.
Not like like connected.
Speak again.
Hello.
Okay, you sound a lot lower, but you sound more stable.
Okay, so it's yeah, it's not like he's fighting because it's not he's fighting because he is like a badass. It feels like he's fighting because he has to. If that makes sense.
He has a clinic to run. That doesn't come cheap.
He's a grown-ass man with grown-ass responsibilities. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, he of all of them, he's probably the most grounded, like, person-like. But, you know.
I mean, grounded in that he has no interest in leaving the slums.
Yeah.
The scrapyard, whatever it's called.
He like Chiren were both from Salem, and unlike Chiren, Ido doesn't want to come back to Salem.
Yeah, because there's no point to come back to it. Because he sort of understands that all of the stuff is smoke and mirrors, and it doesn't really make you.
It's all bullshit.
Happier. Yeah, it's like.
I would more say this sacrifice you have to make to be amongst the people of Salem. Let's just say.
Yeah, that's true, but like,
he knows more than he lets on.
Let's talk about Chirin real quick, and we'll move on to the plot.
Oh, yeah.
Chirin is Chirin is a bit like Yugo, but
dumber. Well, she's a woman, so you know.
Yeah, she's kind of willing to do anything. Yep.
The thing with Chirin,
nothing.
The thing with Chirin is that she, like Yugo, is actually willing to do anything to come back to Salem, even if it means killing motherfuckers left and right.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, but she doesn't really take the initiative to come back to the to Salem at all.
Yeah, she seems to want to like get there through like trickery. But she's not very good at it. So you can just kind of dangle the very idea of Salem in front of her face, and she'll immediately take the bait.
Well, she's more of a desperate character than anything else. Like, she actually wants there. And unlike, well, because she was there to begin with. So she's like, I want to be there no matter what. And she's willing to sacrifice everything, but not out of desperation. Like other characters. She's more, oh, I deserve it, basically. This kind of
thing. Yeah.
She's entitled to it. She's entitled.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
I mean, people are gonna say,
yeah,
like, she's a typical, you know.
Stop.
Just, I'm just saying.
One thing is, she's like to the point. Oh, wow, now the input's like way higher. What the hell?
It's a microphone dying.
It suddenly got way more sensitive. Anyway.
Yep.
So what was I saying? It's to the point where she will walk into traps that she basically knows are traps. She will like if she's told she'll go to Salem, and she knows that it's not true, she will literally still take the bait anyway.
Yep.
That explains what happened to her in the end. God damn.
Like on the off chance that hold it 1 second. It's like on the off chance, the tiny slim 0.02% chance that the trap isn't a trap, or that there's a chance to get back there, she'll do it. It's extremely high levels of almost delusional desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the plot.
Josh wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, without ruining her ending, I was gonna say there was a scene where the one high roller harvester guy,
Vector.
Vector was having sex with her on his desk in his office. Like, obviously, she's just like, "Oh, this guy is my ticket in there. I will literally do anything." And like, she was doing like a just stare at the ceiling, like just deal with it kind of look too. And you're just like, "All right, well, that's what's happening here."
Oh,
So like,
and there's
yes.
also that one part where she reminisces about being Ido's partner.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to just point out at least one thing, which she doesn't exist in the manga. She never had
Yeah,
a love.
Really?
She never had a wife. And the movie took her character and expanded on it.
Huh.
Well,
Okay.
because the film also draws from complete story arc, as opposed to this OVA, which is
Like I kind of cared a little bit more for her in the movie than in this, and that's really all I could really say about her.
Yeah. Let's move on to the plot, and the story and whatnot. Um, the story for this, it kind of has that sort of like 90s OVA thing happening where they have this like really like high concept world, um and they have like sort of like all this sort of philosophical stuff going on in the in like how the story is presented, uh but they have an hour. They have an hour to tell the whole thing. So they have an hour to introduce you to the idea of the scrap world, let you know it's post-apocalyptic, let you know about all the cyborgs and the organ thieves, and let you know about Zelos and give you an idea of why everyone wants to be there. Um, and tell you about the bounty hunters, um, and what they do, and even throw in the cyborg wrestling in the background, um, and introduce all the characters, and get all of their story arcs all the way through in an hour.
yep.
Um,
I
yeah.
mean,
In
it
the
can be
case,
done, and we see that being done, but like
it can be done, and
not with this team.
they do it, and it doesn't, and they don't really do a bad job either. Uh, but the result is that it kind of feels like it's at like absolute like bullet train pacing. It's like it like
It just
everything
goes.
yeah, everything moves really quickly.
man,
It,
you know what that reminds me of? When we were watching the compilation movie for Perfect for Blue Gender, it was
Uh
like that.
yeah,
But
the
yeah, but it's still a
but
lot
the
better than Blue Gender, that's for sure.
yeah,
yeah,
what one thing with the compilation movies for Blue Gender and the original Gundam is that like the for those the original shows were created in a way uh that was not meant to be like chopped up to make really short.
indeed.
Um this
It was.
they an hour. So they were able to they were able to write it in a way that that would work even if it felt like it was going a little too fast. It's very easy to miss things. Like I missed the explanation for why Gally suddenly good. Um so it's very easy to miss things if you like zone out or like look away from the screen. Um
Or in my
it,
case, when I was writing the Pink Comet, I was watching the Japanese version playing on the background.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
had to go back a couple times to like be like, wait, what happened here? Because like the pacing felt like really weird to me. Like it wasn't like terrible, but it was like at times it felt like some parts really weren't that important and that we didn't really need to draw on that. But then like the next like 30 seconds could be like three plot points all just kind of shoved in together, and I was like, wait, what? Okay, let me make sure I understand everything that's going on. So like it a little jarring, but also like you said, they crammed what typically would be like at least a hour and a half, 2 hour movie. Obviously, the movie that got released is a 2 hour movie into an hour. Well, in the like 45 minutes with the credits. So it was like really, really, really fast paced for the story, and I felt like I never got attached to any of the characters or really cared because of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue when you're making something really short is trying to get the audience to become attached to the characters. Because like you have to have like a lot of like character scenes where with people talking and like hanging out and just like being people. Then you have to have like the scenes where they're under pressure and how they react under pressure and what their motivations are and all that kind of good stuff. And and when you only have an hour and you have like a really high concept setting, um, and a lot of OVAs have this problem. What ends up happening is like all like the the plot exposition, the all the lore dumping and whatnot has to compete with with like all like the character moments and then like what's actually happening in the plot on top of that. Um, and you can kind of like it's not so bad when you're making like remember Riding Bean
Oh
um
God.
because like Riding Bean uh all you really have to understand about the settings is that it's a big city and it's the criminal underground. Um, you don't have to understand like Zelos and like the
Um,
Scrap Iron City and
Salem.
whatnot, or Zalem. Sorry, who's oh Zelos is the name of that monster sorcerer dude from Slayers.
Ah,
I got that mixed up.
it's
Um,
fine.
but anyway,
Yes, folks, we are old. Thank you.
yeah. Um, but anyway, so the like in something like Riding Bean, though those things aren't really competing with one another, and there also isn't like it's also more lighthearted. You don't have to like you're not like setting up a Greek tragedy. You're not trying to make and you're not like trying to make any like philosophical statements or anything like that. But with this, uh, it just does have that problem, and you see this a lot with '90s anime, though, or '90s OVAs. They'll have all this all this stuff to like cram into a show, and then it's like 2, 3, 4 20-minute episodes, and it just ends up not working.
I mean, what do you want, Evangelion?
I mean, no.
My problem with the show is not that, actually. I would disagree with you on this. My problem is the material that they're adapting. There's too little of it. Because by the time the OVA started, the production of it, the manga only had like a very few volume, and it ends with the volume being the last one that they adapted, where
Yeah.
they basically fall down.
That's that's
Can
one
make it
thing.
in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do that. But they didn't have a good team on this one. That's just simple as that.
But that
And
Script
that
is a
is
bit
one thing.
floaty. It
And
doesn't
lack of
explain a lot
budget.
of things. Well, somewhat explains, but it's a little bit vague. You have to like pick up on clues, which is not necessarily bad, but you need more, food for thought for, for players, for
and,
anime watchers.
and then there's the fact that the mangaka himself isn't keen on
He wasn't
more.
involved in the production as well, so it's like that's
He was
Yeah.
more concerned with like continuing his manga than he was really
Yeah.
caring about an adaptation of the work.
Yeah. One thing. One thing that is very noticeable is that it while it does like the sort of tragic end to it does it kind of fit as an ending for a series or at least a movie or something.
Not for an hour, yeah.
But it doesn't it does kind of feel like you did just watch the first 2 episodes of an anime that was like canceled after 2 episodes.
Yep. That I can.
And and to make things even more worse, the ending in the OVA was actually not anywhere else. This was an exclusive because in the movie, um, they don't tell you what happens to Yugo's arm after the ending. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Or didn't
Yeah.
they
I mean, he
didn't they like
presumed
bury it?
Uh, it's never explained what they did, what Alita did with the arm after in the film.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
I mean, we're basically just rating this, not like
We're rating the movie
as
now. I'm
yeah.
about to go.
I was gonna say we're rating the show as it is. Like, if you didn't read the source material, if you didn't watch the like the live action, like this should just be able to stand alone, especially since that's a lot of people's
Um,
yeah, like only
Yeah.
yeah. So it's, I mean, it took this long to be adapted. Um, what I can say good about this was obviously the idea was good enough to want to be adapted into a live action movie. So like plot wise, there is some good parts of this plot. There is a lot that it does build off of. It has a lot of really powerful themes that have been done time and time again after this.
Yeah.
I can definitely see a lot of like I was talking to a friend about this today. A lot of the themes that are used in this, you can definitely see were used in other mediums, and like this was um, something that people took inspiration from. So
Yeah.
as its own point as the inspiration, it did a great job. I can see where this blossomed, and I feel like we've had this discussion on this podcast many, many times where
Yeah.
yes, this was groundbreaking for the time. Yes, I can see why people really liked it at the time, but does it hold up to today's standards? Have people been able to adapt it, change it, and make it better? And that's how I feel about the show, just in general. And I'll get to that whenever I do my rating. But just in general, it just feels like this has been now done better and better and better. And it's a great look back. Uh,
I
but there was a lot of flaws.
I like I do quite like this show actually. The reason I like it is just kind of like this like complete polar opposite of like modern anime, where like this it's sort of a lot of it's sort of a lot of the reason why I got into anime in the first place. And that is like it's like this show that's like has like this really high concept world, but it's like all the all like the elements in it are just like are just like grimy and pulpy uh uh to like an extreme degree. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'd expect to see in like a pulp novel from like the 30s, like the kind of like paperback kind of stuff, like the really weird fiction, um where it's it's not even like attempting to be like high art. It's just it's sort of more attempting to be as like wild as possible. Um and it's got the it's got the blood, it's got the guts, it's got the like really over the top and gritty violence. It's got the it's got all the robots and all like the like crazy stuff happening, people like eviscerating other people for organs and whatnot. And then it's got the Greek tragedy ending at the end. It's like really if you're like into like pulp novels uh or uh like the sort of kind of like strange like really cheap paperbacks from the mid-century, um like 90s OVAs like this are like they're like right up your alley. They're it's like that's the kind of stuff I like. And unlike MD Geist, it's not like completely fucking insufferable.
God.
But
Um
Excuse me?
Yes, excuse you. It's trash.
No, it's not.
uh,
It's not that bad. It's like an '80s action.
no, it
no, it
Yes,
was
no, it
bad.
it's
is
trash.
It
really
was
bad.
bad.
Literally
It's
almost
okay.
every 80s action movie is like 10 times better than MD Geist.
I mean, literally,
That's
the
a
movie
bold statement.
Soldier with Kurt Russell basically borrowed the plot from MD Geist.
Yeah, and they done it better.
But
I've
but
never
All
seen
right, I'll
MD
give it
Geist.
that. I'll give it
Yeah.
that. It is better,
Yeah.
but still.
I never seen that.
but what I was saying, and I'm gonna agree with a lot of
Sorry.
what you were saying, was I was talking about the plot. Like the plot feels like it's been done better and better and better over so many times. Like people have looked at this and went, "Wow, this is like such a great inspiration. It's such a good place to pull from." And I think that that's really standing out. Was how well done like the concepts are, like the different world buildings in this, like how deep that can go. I thought that this is such a great place to like pull from, and you can see inspiration in like different works. Um,
Yeah,
um, but like, I mean, as far as the world goes, yes, that's I love this style of world. I've said before, cyberpunk has always been one of my favorite styles. Um,
Me too.
I love how gritty it is. I love like this style of animation. Yes, it's a little bit more barren. Like you could definitely tell it was cheaping out on a lot of things, but you also know that
yeah,
these artists at the time didn't have much of a budget. And this is a lot of their passion projects. Like back in the 90s, anime was not as popular and they didn't have the money. And the guys that worked on it because they absolutely loved it. Um, I mean, we're seeing that
Or
culture
unless
coming
Yakuza
through
wanted the
today.
paycheck.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing that that culture come through today of like we're working our artists to death.
Yep.
But like this was so well drawn and well animated for its time. Like it deserves what it was. But that doesn't mean that everyone since has done a better and better job. And that's more of what I was highlighting is like, yes, this was such a good foundation that other people can pull from, but now because it's been 30 years, we can see how much better we've been able to adapt these concepts and these styles and everything. So, um, like, I would say that this is a great place that if you love this style and want to pull from and want to like animate from or want to like have that background and understanding or like understanding how to world build that makes it interesting even in 45 minutes. Yes, this is great source material. But if you're just watching it as like a casual viewer, like it you can muddy into is it really worth watching because does it hold up? That's my
Yeah.
thing to say.
Well,
Let's move on to the let's move on to the summaries and ratings.
Yeah, we've been doing for a while. So I guess I'll just keep bleeding over. um, no, I enjoyed it. Um, this is definitely to me something that if I watched 10, 15 years ago, that I would have been extremely hooked. I would have loved it. I would have eaten this up. I would have been telling, "Hey, watch this." If it was like, uploaded on YouTube at 240p in like YouTube 2008, I would have like watched every single episode and like showed my friends hanging out and everything. Definitely hit all the elements I love. But as I was saying, if I was rating it back then, it would be such a higher score. But as it lies today, and as I understand anime, and as I understand storyboarding, and have seen so much more concepts and so many more good things, it doesn't hold up as much as I wish it would. There was a lot of parts in the show where it felt like even in 45 minutes it felt like it dragged for like a good 5 minutes, and whenever you're on such a time crunch, nothing should really drag. At the same time, there was other parts where it just felt rushed through, like, hey, this part's important, let's get through all the storyboarding and like all the story plot points and just throw up all those concepts all at once. So it was kind of like jarring with me. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a 7. I think that it definitely is worth the watch if you are really in the older animes, but I wouldn't recommend it to every single person that I know. And if I was going to recommend it to someone that's just getting into anime, I wouldn't be like pointing as this is a masterpiece, go watch it. I would be like, yeah, definitely on your cult classics, but there you go.
Neko. Oh wait.
All right.
Oh yeah, you gave your rating. Neko.
I have a hot take. I'll put it this way. Was this OVA cult? Yes, it still is. The problem that I see with the show, OVA, whatever, this particular piece of media is that you have something that had, as people already mentioned, something that had a big potential, that started something like the ideas, the concepts, all that. And as evolution progresses with the media, that became better and better and better and better. And now we have, I don't know, like 1,000 times better shows than this stuff. And particularly to this Alita manga OVA media piece, right? you already have a film which supplants this OVA by every single thing. Now, there's an ending which is different from manga, but who cares? I would not subject anyone to watch this show, even though it's an hour of your life, blah, blah, blah. Go watch a film. That's much better experience, explains a lot more. It gives you better eye candy because, Salazar is pretty gal. Big eyes, obviously, big eyes. That puts that in the context of that world more than it did in anime in the first place. Um, as a historical curiosity, sure, go nuts, watch it. I would no. I'll. I know we cannot give two ratings, obviously, but if the media would came out when it came out and we would be rating that thing, writing for Attack USA magazine, yeah, sure, it's 8.5. But now it's like 4 because it's just not holding up that well.
All right, nines.
This will be my second time watching this, and again, as I said, I've read the manga, watched the movie. I think the OVA, unfortunately, is just unfinished, which, as we learned decades later, this was the ongoing thing in which some anime just did not get fleshed out or adapted properly. I feel like, again, this OVA was just made to be an ad for the manga at the time, than actually going to flesh it out and adapt it.
Mm-hmm.
There were some decent parts I did like to see, like the fight scenes be animated, but overall, you're better off either just reading it, as I guess the intention was. I would probably give it. I can't. Well, then it was 6. It's more of a 5 for me, which is rare. That it does hold a place somewhere for anyone who wants to watch it as an oddity, but ultimately you can just avoid it. So I give it a 5.
All right, Striker.
Okay. Funny thing about this, I actually ended up watching the OVA after I was watching the movie. By well, you know, let's just say I didn't go to a movie theater to watch this movie. Now that being said, I this is the second time I've been rewatching this OVA, and here's the thing, this is more like the third time because I was watching the dub and the sub. Uh, well, how should I say this? Does this anime actually hold up? Art style, yes, it does hold a bit. Yeah, because to be honest, they don't really make them as they used to. Do not fall into the anime boomer thing, but it is true. Like the problem is they never bothered to remaster this series because we ended up having to watch the series in what looks like either a VHS copy or a DVD rip from like the early 2000s. I mean,
Exile Destiny. You know it.
yeah. And that's how I saw it when I was watching it. Now that being said, the fact that this series got adapted into a movie means that there is some hope for your beloved series to make it into Hollywood, if you can. I mean, the movie itself, honestly, was a labor of passion because Robert Rodriguez as well as James Cameron were fans of Battle Angel Alita. So that's pretty much why it even happened in the first place. And then here's the thing: they actually changed a couple of things here and there. They took some creative liberties with permission from the mangaka himself. For example, in the movie, Daisuke Ido is called Dyson Ido in the movie. they actually did a name change because let's be honest here. What Westerner is going to be pronouncing Daisuke like that? You know, Dyson. All right. So this is some classics. There's a reason why some classics end up being cult classics. One reason is failed launches. In certain movies, there were some failed launches. For example, Cherry 2000. That was supposed to be a 1980s movie, but that movie came out in the mid 90s, and it was a VHS film. Ends up, it has a cult status. However, in the case of Battle Angel Alita, did I enjoy it? Yeah, I actually did enjoy it. It was a little fast paced, sure, but at the same time, I honestly wish that hold on, let me check the name of the mangaka real quick. That would be Kishiro-san would have actually at least seized the opportunity to continue with the animation with at least 3 more episodes more, at least, because I understand that the manga itself is like has several chapters into it, and frankly, it's quite sad that the other problem is not everyone has the time to read. All right, especially people who are anime only. I am actually, for the most part, an anime
I
only
think
guy.
you can read faster than watch.
Yeah, reading manga is a lot faster than watching anime.
Yeah,
So I got
I
the One
barely
Piece.
Yeah,
read
look at
manga,
thousands of
and
pages.
I am not reading One Piece, not even by gunpoint.
I use
So-
that
You
as an
have, like,
example.
Yes.
how many volumes you have? How many pages? It's just at this point, no.
How
All right,
how long-
shouldn't be
how long
interrupting. Let's
now.
just get back to it.
how long will it actually take to read the entirety of the manga itself? That is a big question.
it's what
That's
8
the
For one
best
thing,
way.
just okay. If you have to ask, all right, there's the original series. It's 9 volumes. There's a sequel series, Last Order, that he was working on. That's done. I don't remember how long that is. And then he has a current one running called Mars Chronicles.
Yep.
So you got 3 different series. The
And
first is
they're
9 volumes.
along, basically.
Not as long as you think, but yeah, it's a little
Well,
long.
it's too
We-
long for average reader.
Okay, sure.
Also,
okay.
he does meander a little bit in the middle, so just saying.
So yeah, get your score out.
Okay. Yeah, I did take a long, but let's be honest, I just had to ask the more difficult questions. And I honestly wish that the sequel actually delivers as much as the first one did, movie wise. I want this series to grow, and at least get its justice, because this show came out, this OVA alone came out 30 years ago. 30 as of last year. And art wise, I enjoyed it. The ambience is very good. I am a big post apocalyptic guy. I really like my post apocalyptic movies and series. And this and mixing some cyberpunk. Yeah, this show actually, this series itself, well, the actually, I just wish it was finished. You know, it feels unfinished more than anything else. Okay, so I'll get into the rating after much deliberation. I strike a red. Give this show a 6.5. It's a good kind of 6.5. I wish this series was a lot longer, because you guys could have gotten a lot more fans that way. But Miles, the only way to even follow the story of Gally and what happens to her, might as well read the manga then, because there is no other choice in this part. The problem is some people just don't have the time, and that's the sad thing. I or the patience even. I wish I had the patience to read the entire series, but unfortunately, I just can't. It's it's not as much as a normie thing or a casual thing, because this is a rewatch more than anything else, and does it hold up? Well, as a cult classic, yes, it does. Mainstream, however, outside Japan, not so much. I'm done.
All right, RJ.
Well, I mean, I think Josh said it best. Do you guys remember when we watched Devil May Cry and Josh said, "You guys,
Oh boy.
Yes.
yeah." So remember what Josh said about that? He said at the time, the rating at that time would make sense for the, or rather the at the time the fan base liking it makes sense because it's like, oh hey, you like Devil May Cry? Well, here's an anime. Um, well, I kind of get the same vibe here because Josh also said, if this was back then, I probably would have liked it. I would have watched it in glorious 240p and showed it to all my friends. I'm gonna have to agree with him on that. I mean, there are certain times when I can kind of forgive older media for being the way it is. And to some extent, I understand this is, a product of its time. At the same time, it kind of, I kind of forgot it even existed until Sugar suggested it. Like, I didn't really like. It could be just because, like, even though I've been fully aware of Battle Angel Alita since I was like in high school, I just, I guess it's just I never really like paid attention. And this OVA certainly didn't help because it kind of just felt like an OVA from that time. Shock value, kind of violent, shock value filled, dystopic as hell. I mean, hell, Koichi Ohara, the guy that made MD Geist, he made an adaptation of a manga called what was it? Anywho, so there's a similar manga about a girl who can transform, but for her it's like more like she's like a biological cyborg, so it's more similar to Guyver, and like it's similar thing happened. They had an OVA, but it was different from the manga. Genocyber, that's what it's called. Yeah, Genocyber. Yeah, Koichi Ohara's take was really brutal, but like this, on the other hand, as you guys put it, it makes sense because for this, the gore makes sense because it's the organ harvesting operation going on. For Genocyber, it didn't make sense because that was just Koichi Ohara being an edgelord. Like they're literally scenes that did not need people's guts showing. But the similarity is that the two of them are both mangas. One's more well known than the other. Battle Angel Alita is definitely more well known than Genocyber, the manga. And the thing is, as a couple of you put it, the mangaka wasn't that interested in adapting it into an animated form. So it kind of shows. They took some liberties. But for me, it was like, oh, cool. It's just another OVA that's really violent and brutal. Yes, I get it. Like, you get what I mean? Like, it kind of like, I'm so desensitized at this point, and I'm just like, bro, yeah, cool, I get it. Like, anywho, what I was trying to say is basically, it's fun. It's all good and fun, but it's not that memorable for me. So I'm gonna give it like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe 7. Let's just give it a 7 because I want to be, I want to be nice. So let's give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. So this show, like I said, I love it. When I got into anime because like I liked the cool dudes with guns and swords. I liked seeing people getting turned into robots and
Your
getting
voice is kind of like blowing up on the microphone. Just letting you know.
Yeah, it's blowing
That's
up.
just on your mode.
da 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 blah blah
Yeah,
blah
There
blah.
you go. There you go. Stop.
Anyway, so I like I said, I got into anime because I liked the cool dudes with guns and swords. I liked watching people being turned into cyborgs and like the man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. I liked seeing all the eldritch horrors, and I liked all these really high concept worlds and stuff like that. It was kind of like this this sort of low art version of prog rock in video form. It is just something that's completely fucking wild. And
Goes back.
it really and that really drew me in as a kid. And watching this, it's like, man, this is the kind of stuff I really like to see. And it's not great, and it's not it's kind of mediocre. Um but it just has all those elements that are really cool. But I am going to disagree with the rest of the panel here. I'm not really of the opinion that this stuff that media really ages per se. I don't think it was a different quality back then than it was now, and I probably would have given it the same score if I was an adult in the 90s and I saw it when it came out. I probably would give it the same score that I'm gonna give it now, which is a 6. It's it it's pretty mediocre. I like it. It's cool. It's pretty mediocre. I give it a 6. All right.
All right, is
So
that
what
everyone?
do we got? Yeah, that's
All right.
everyone.
So 1, 2,
We had a
3, 4,
big panel
6.
today.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah,
Whoa,
full
who's-
house.
1, 2, 3. Cool. And
Just a
got
pink
the
comment.
6.
The scores are in there.
Yeah. So we averaged out to a 6.
All right.
So
Damn.
Makes sense.
Yep. Which I've
Got a
accidentally brought that
7
down.
on Mal.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the place where I was watching it from has a higher rating on it,
Yeah.
which is like an
IMDb
8.
7.2, Mal 7.1. It's pretty middling, I'd say, but
yeah.
it's also pretty cool.
Yeah. It definitely is what it is. So
I did not mind rewatching it again because the movie actually, like I said, the movie itself actually made me want to check out the OVA because I wanted to learn more about the characters.
Also,
And
the big eyes look like shit. I don't give a shit what you say. They look like shit.
Heretic. Heretic.
Don't bother watching the sequel then.
bruh,
Bruh.
No, but
Called being a
seriously,
fucking heretic.
man, I could care less about the eyes because she's not human to begin with.
She's
Yeah,
cute
I don't-
That's not
anyway.
complete. That's
I
not
don't,
completely right
I
either.
don't care. I don't
Jeez.
want her to look fucking ugly.
Well,
That's a skill issue from your part, good sir.
major,
Freaking
major.
fucking not
Skill
thinking
issue.
the giant eyes are pretty. That's a skill.
No. I
Skill
mean,
issue.
You
Yeah,
don't like
I
culture,
am
my
more
friend.
skilled than you. I agree.
Oh boy.
So we're done.
Yeah, we're just about done. Hit
Yeah,
hit,
all
hit the hit the off button. All right, we'll see you 2 months from now.
Hey,
Later, everyone.
folks listening. Hey, folks listening in. We will see you guys in March. You guys keep it real. Enjoy, the time being until then. And I hope all of you are having a good start of your year.
and in the case of February, use a condom where you're doing it because
God damn it.
Yeah, of course. It's Valentine's Day next week. What do you expect?
What if you only have a flashlight? Anyway.